So, going to bed last night was a challenge. I actually wound up not sleeping for an extra 5 hours. I think it was 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning by the time I was finally able to close my eyes, and then I was up again by 7 or 8. And I started communicating with the party members that were in the upper echelon and doing some research to find out more information about just where I was and where my opponents were, especially with the UCP. And looking at their platform, I could read that, yes, indeed, they were constantly saying that they are removing the entire carbon tax. But as of May 7th of last year, so less than a year ago, the leader of the UCP made it clear to CBC on record that the UCP and he himself would be wanting to actually install a carbon levy, not a carbon tax, a levy. Now, of course, a tax is a tax is a tax, and a levy is a tax. But because he labeled it a carbon levy, their own platform has it that anything that is carbon tax related has to go through referendum to Alberta before it can be put in place. But as a carbon levy, well, that's something different because it's not a tax. And because it's not a tax, you don't have to do the referendum and you can just apply it. That is clearly not removing the entire carbon tax. They want it on the heavy emitters, and I can see why they wanted to go that direction. But the fact is that if you put the carbon tax on even the larger and the largest of our industries, that's going to reduce the amount of investment in our province, and it's also going to make things that much more financially difficult. It's going to increase prices, and we're still paying the carbon tax, except we're paying for it in raised prices to offset the carbon tax that they've had to pay. So we're still paying for it. We simply don't see it. In addition to that, they're advocating for a reduced tax for large business down to, I believe, 10%, which is a wonderful break for large business. So great, you give them this income tax break so that they can recover better, but at the same time you're putting the carbon tax on top of them, which is going to be even bigger than the income tax break. I mean, what break is that? What really is the good of that, and how can you even get your head into a place where that is really going to be something beneficial, where you're really quote unquote doing something good? Now I am absolutely safe and certain that we are the only party that is committed to the complete elimination of the carbon tax immediately. Not staged out over years, not most of it gone, but then, hey, we're going to slip stuff in behind. And it pissed me off so much because of the political double talk. I am so done with this. It's like it's the same thing again and again and again. It doesn't matter who comes in. It's still the same nonsense. Non-stop verbal diarrhea. More on the next one.